So yeah, continue on. Final part of my review of the first episode of The Lost Kingdom. So yeah, so we have young Uhtred and Earl Ragnar and Earl Ragnar's son and his family, whatever. Pretty much at this point, really starting to bond. I believe Gutham, the guy that Earl Ragnar banned due to his son violating his daughter, he tells young Uhtred's uncle, who's now the king of Bebenberg, that young Uhtred lives. So pretty much the king, well, pretty much you know how the uncle said pretty much that if his brother died, the boy's gonna die. So yeah, so this is bad news, to the uncle obviously, because if the boy's alive, that means he will no longer be king. So pretty much the priest overhears this, and everyone pretty much meets up. You have Uba, Earl Ragnar, his son, Earl Ragnar's old man dad, you know, and pretty much the king, the uncle, and the people that's important in Bebenberg. So yeah, so pretty much young Uther is told by the old man, the old blind man, Earl Ragnar's dad, that this is a ransom, pretty much, for the boy since he's a nobleman, and that essentially Uba gets paid more because Uba's a leader. He gets paid more, of the profits than everyone else. So that's sort of obvious. So yeah, the boy sees the priest. The priest is happy to see him. They're happy to see each other. Young Uther said he's been fed well. So pretty much the priest says to young Uther, "Can I see that amulet?" And he uses the opportunity to whisper to young Uther that his uncle intends to kill him, and take the throne for himself, and that he should go to Wessex, with Prince Alfred and some other person I forgot. Before you go more in detail, Earl Ragnar is like, listen, if you don't, stop whispering to the boy, I'll cut your tongue. Something along them lines. So he stops. So pretty much, while the ransom is going on, the old man wants 300, for like 300 coins, I believe, something, for the boy. And Uncle saying that's way too much. Then it's lowered to 200, then 120, then he gets, but he's really frustrated, you know, the uncle. So pretty much while this is going on, you have young Uther's pretty much uses sign language in a way to tell Earl Ragnar this is a trap and that the dude wants to kill him. So I guess Earl Ragnar put two and two together that the priest was telling the boy something and that had to do, with his uncle wanted to kill him. So pretty much Earl Ragnar buys the boy, you know. And there's this funny scene where they're riding back together. Earl Ragnar throws the boy into the water, and then you have like at least probably like a decade or 8 years later, the boy's a grown ass man, bathing in the water. He's coming back to the farm. The family seems like tight knit, whatever. Him and that girl, whatever, are grown. I believe that girl's name is Brita, and you can tell there's lots of sexual tension between them two. So Earl Ragnar wants to have a word with Uhtred, and he says pretty much that there's lots of good men that want Brita's hand in marriage, but pretty much I want you to take her. She's gonna be in the woods tonight, and the earth's gonna be warm. So you know what that means. So Uhtred's like saying he says to him that he always felt that in order for him to be the Dane, he has to marry a Dane. But you have Earl Ragnar say something really like deep. So you know what? I love you as much as I love my my son. Pretty much he loves him like a son. So he departs on that, and that really sort of. I believe after that you have Uhtred's kind of remember, like put his hand on the scar from the last time they fought when he was like a kid. So yeah. After that, Uhtred meets Brita in the woods, and they have bang bang time. So after their bang bang time, whatever, Uhtred asks her, does she have reminisce about her time as a kid, back in England? And she says, "Do you?" And he was about to say it, but then she heard like footsteps. So it turns out they look down. You know, Actually before that, I think Uhtred said they sound like foot soldiers like below them. So they see them, they look like Danes. They were Danes. So it was actually Guthrum and his son, whose name I forgot. I'm just gonna call him One Eye, since Earl Ragnar crushed his shit years ago. He has that little fucking power light patch covering it. What was once an eye. So yeah. Besides that, they know it was pretty much a sign of bad news considering the bad blood between Earl Ragnar and Guthrum and his son, whatever, and that everyone most likely would be asleep by now. So they try to run, it'd be easy for them to run on foot, so they ran on foot, but they were too late. Guthrum and company set the motherfucking, place on fire. Those that were able to escape were either, like, a good portion were slaughtered, and the rest were kind of kept, probably as, like, slaves, whatever. But they shoot an arrow, they get the old man. You have this really powerful sad scene in which, like, Earl Ragnar, his wife, pretty much gives him the knife, tells him to kill her. He kills her, and he tells his father, before they put their heads together, that you make sure that she goes to Valhalla along with you. He's like, sure. So after that, you have this real badass scene in which Earl Ragnar makes his final stand. He's in his armor, and then he takes on, like, mad dudes, like several dudes, while on fucking fire. And the only thing that stops him is just the fact that the flames are consuming his body. That's the only thing that stops him. So he eventually falls, and I believe Guthrum just spits on him, just add more disrespect. So he says after that, make sure you take all the silver that he has, And Uhtred and Brida, they get there, but too late. And Uhtred's incensed. He's, just like, goddamn, missed them by a little bit. So the next morning, they're watching, them just raid the whole thing, whatever. Uhtred's like, you know what? Because he notices that guy, that fat dude who was peering through early in the episode that apparently was working for his uncle. And that dude is with Guthrum. So, with Guthrum. So he knew probably that his uncle had something to do with it, or maybe it was a separate agenda. Anywho, Uhtred's like, you know what? Someone got to die. So he kills the fat bastard, And we have this weird scene in which, like, Earl Ragnar's daughter, pretty much meets the creepy dude, the boy that pretty much dishonored her last time, like, years later, and he says that she's a slave and that he can do what he wants to her finally now, saying that he pined for her for so long. She spits at him. The dude takes the little bit of spit that was on his finger and sucks it, like swallows it. I'm like, oh god, this dude's a creep. So yeah, so the girl's pretty much taken with the rest of those that survived to slavery to serve something we don't know as of yet. So we have Uhtred and Brida find the silver, and they said this is probably young, like, Earl Ragnar's son's silver, and they said they're only going to take as much as they need. So she said, we're going to serve some other lord. Just tell everyone, we're going to serve some other lord. But Uhtred's like, nah, I'm not going to serve any more lords. I'm going to take what's mine. She said, where are we going to go? He said, to the beginning. So it turns out Uhtred pretty much is returning back to Bebbanburg. And he does the same old tactic that Earl Ragnar, his adopted father, did years or decades, or at least a decade earlier, with him coming, towards, the kingdom, in his little wool, attire, with his head covered with his hood, removes it, and has the head, and just leaves it at the steps. And he tells his uncle, this is mine, and I'm going to take it. And the uncle has that look like, oh shit, goddamn, why not kill this kid when I had the chance? But yeah, that's all I have to say about this episode. Thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, write some comments down below, and adios.